Gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to the very best of the worst reality TV with your favorite hosts and experts, I feel now, Gitch and Cassandra, as we take you down the garden path with Married at First Sight. Kay, where are we at?
I'm feeling very giggly all of a sudden. I think it was your intro. And I don't know, I felt that like that episode was a bit depressing on many levels. So I guess I'm just being quite contrary and getting all
Mm,
giggly now. Um,
honestly, like Holly said last week or someday, 10 years ago, she has nothing left in the tank, and I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that after tonight's episode.
I'm a bit like that too. And all I've really got to say, like as an extra, is I really enjoyed Dom's blue eyeshadow look.
Oh, absolutely. The 80s are back, but she's rocking
She's
it.
rocking it, and it reminds me of, do you know
Mm.
the famous feminist? Well, I think she's famous, Clementine Ford.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah, I love
yes.
her. She
Yeah.
does a few looks like that, and I thought,
Ah.
they're twinning. They're twinning, and I like it.
Yeah, it was good. I think it would have rocked really well with Samantha's blue dress from last week, the swirly ocean patterned one that you had to dig
Oh,
out.
oh,
Did you dig it out for
I did
us?
not. I'm ill-equipped
Oh,
for this conversation. I'm sorry, Kay. I did not. In fact, I forgot all about it.
it's okay. It's a long season. We've got lots of time to dig into the back of your wardrobe. We will find that.
I'll have to take that question on notice, is like we say in the corporate world.
Okay, where do we begin? Holly, I am so delighted that we only had maybe 3 seconds of Andrew, but even that was too much tonight.
I feel the same way. We heard his voice, I think, only for a little bit, and then we saw,
Hmm.
yeah, like 20 seconds of footage, and that just like gave me PTSD. And then we hear John with his intonation was really odd, like he had full stops between his words. And I'm going to do an impression. He has
Do
decided
it.
not to be part of the experiment any longer. It was just odd.
It's very dramatic, isn't it? Very, very dramatic.
I did like.
Maybe we should try
It,
that. This show. No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I think I can.
Very good.
Really
Nice.
annoying
I
though.
like
Let's
it.
just talk normally. I did like they've really themed Holly with her sort of putting on her makeup scene,
Yes, I loved that.
staring into the mirror, determined and full of power, like
Mm,
getting her witch on, a witchy. And then the shoe shot, because they still have a foot theme going on, and it was Chanel
mm.
shoes tonight, or Chanel knockoffs, who knows.
Yes. Yeah, I did notice that. I really enjoyed that scene because it just made her seem really powerful and glamorous, and she was in control, which I think was something that people have been saying that she was, being too expressive or out of control. And I think tonight she managed to, gather herself and gather her words, and that was them presenting her as being, ready and powerful.
Do you mean she presented herself well the whole time, or just during that scene?
During that scene, I think she really tried to stay composed, but she is emotional, and that's okay. I'm like, you know what? She's gone through a lot with, this dickhead and possibly, well, not thousands. She's not she's not Andrew.
Oh no. Look, yes, it should be okay to be emotional. And we've talked about how, my family
Hmm.
joke is a leaf falls off a tree and I start crying, or, Drambuie's not in the bar and I start crying. And that's, I do feel some empathy there and affiliation with
Yes.
Holly. But I have to say, when she sat down and she was talking about how she was going to voice the full picture, I got
Mm.
so nervous that she was going to mumble and flail her hands around and do a witchy thing and that shaky voice she does. I got a lot of anxiety about what was about to happen.
Do you think she expressed it well to the group after all? Because she was still getting, looks, or even Jackson was jumping in and, interrupting her, which I found really annoying because she just said that Andrew had taken her voice. And then Jackson jumps in and says, Sorry, I just need to interrupt
Oh,
you.
yeah, he definitely
I need to
says,
stop you.
"Oh, you feel like you have a voice? Well, let me interrupt that and take that right away from you."
Yeah. Oh, that was infuriating for me. But do you think that she managed to explain to the group well what had gone on behind closed doors, that they didn't see the footage that we had seen, let's say?
True. I think she did express herself well for what we saw, but I think it was probably very heavily edited and probably
Mm.
several takes to get that. But good on her. We know now that was what Celine was crying about, not Andrew abandoning her.
I know. I thought there might have been a bit more drama with maybe Anthony not rocking up as well.
I know they get me every time
I
with those
know. I
clips.
know.
But yeah, Olivia
Mm.
was pulling a face like a puffer fish whilst Holly was speaking. Then, of course, Jackson and Olivia interject and go, sorry, what did he say? Can I just get my 2 cents in or something like that?
Mm.
Puffer fish face, rolling eyes, accusing Holly of not being an adult, not being the bigger person, which I find ironic because
Mm.
Olivia's lost a lot of weight. So at one point, she was literally the bigger person. And do you think she went and sat down next to the people that were bullying her about her weight? I don't
Yes.
think so.
Yeah.
So don't diss Holly for not sitting
Mm.
next to Andrew.
And also, she's there making faces at her, and then she's dissing her for making faces at a guy that's putting her down on TV.
Correct.
So maddening. I was quite irate about that as well. God, this show is
I
making
know.
me angry. Where is the love?
That's
Where is the
well, that's the thing with
love?
you, Kay. You're a very like you believe in love and romance
I
and that happy ending
do.
and the beautiful love story. Whereas I'm
Yes.
more of a cynic. So for me it's sort of to be expected. In fact, I'm a bit disappointed it's not worse.
Oh, yeah, I know. I shouldn't, be so presumptuous that they'll all have their happy ending, because we've seen tonight it clearly does not happen. The experts got it wrong. Holly and Andrew were not made for each other.
Well, no, I don't think you should change at all. I just they may not have their happy ending on this show. Now, I did have to pop
Mm.
to the cellar, so I missed the part where Alessandro gave Olivia a bit of a serve about her behavior. What happened
Yes.
there?
So she questioned her on it, and then Olivia immediately, even though she had just given out to Holly 5 minutes earlier from the editing that we've seen, she then looked over and apologized to Holly for how she'd spoken to her and how she had used her words during the dinner party, and that perhaps she was hadn't fully understood and given her the benefit of the doubt where she should have. But I really just thought you've just interjected 10 minutes before and also were pulling faces at Holly, so I just really didn't believe that apology.
I did see her response, Olivia's response. I just didn't hear
Mm,
What Alessandro said. And yeah,
yeah.
that infuriated me as well because, yeah, she didn't address that
Mm,
she's just basically accused her of being in the wrong again, basically being a misogynist, I think, which is a
mm,
woman hater.
mm.
My mother didn't know what that meant, which I thought was, probably a little late in the game. And that took me back to remember in the beginning of the show when she was talking, they were both talking together, and Olivia was so flippant doing the, I'll be honest with you, babes, about the eye
Mm.
rolling, and Holly saying, I'm an eloquent and strong woman. And then they flashed back to, when she did that Jane Austen scene where she kicked Andrew out. I shan't keep you. Remember
Yes.
that?
Oh, she was holding it well then. She really was. She was focused with her anger then. It's good.
And then Olivia starts with the dead dad thing.
Oh, I know.
It's a sad story. We all know that, but it's not relevant to this conversation right now.
She just kind of flip flopped and talked about him being there and seeing Jackson. And Jackson, said he was watching her and it was, they were just smitten kittens again, but just forgetting what had just happened and how I think aggressive she was. Like you say, I think she was being a bit misogynistic towards Holly perhaps, and just not being any way supportive. I think it wasn't the nicest side of Olivia that I have seen for
No, I
sure.
think they're going to cop it on social media. I think they're going to go from
Mm.
their pedestal down to lesser than dirt, to quote Holly. And sisters before misters, babes.
Absolutely. Babes.
Oh,
Oh,
I know.
gross. But yeah, they're fantastic though as a couple. They got their box of toys and Jackson had his mind opened and they've come so far and Jesus, they must have come so
Oh,
much.
you always take it so far, Kay. I picked them as sex pests immediately, remember? Um,
You
and as a
had.
reminder to everyone, my interpretation of sex pest is anyone that thinks about or engages in or talks about sex. And that is definitely them. Sex pests.
Hmm. Oh, 100%.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
Who's next?
Selin and Anthony, the perfect couple, all of a
How did
sudden.
that happen? Did
I
I miss
don't
an
know.
episode?
What has happened behind their closed doors? He said he was anxious, and normally she would beat that down and beat that out of him. And now she's accepted that and said that's beautiful, and we're just happily living together now.
I'm so confused by those two. It was just too quick.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did like her cargo pants and bustier top combo. Very, very
Do you know,
different.
so did I. And I don't know, I
Mm.
reckon that will be quite polarizing, that look, but I thought she pulled it off.
Yes, I really think she's a stunner.
Sure is. But that's all I've got
Mm.
to say about them. Like,
That's
WTF?
I have to say, I think there was some extreme editing going on in the show tonight because we'll talk about it as we go through the couples, but there was definitely bits I just did not understand what was happening or thought that the experts had missed really delving into what was going on with the couples. Um, right, who do we have next? Al and Samantha, your lover boy.
I do love him, and I did like the visual of the fluffy hair with no product in it. But I
Mm,
agree that that drop in his his personal hygiene and grooming standard probably does suggest some depression.
yes. Yes, he wasn't his normally bubbly, bouncing around puppy self.
Correct.
Oh,
No.
it's been a big week, as he said.
Well, that's the
Um,
thing. Sam asked him to go for it and, talk to the experts about how
mm,
the week went. And all he could sort of get out of his mouth was that it's been a big week, which of course is wrong. He fucked it up again. Everything
mm,
he does.
I know. And then I thought, was it Holly's tips? We haven't seen those yet. When last week she was telling me how to caress Samantha's body in the kitchen, hadn't seen any of those. Well, I suppose it'd only been a day, but nothing had been actioned since Holly gave that great advice.
Oh, I remember the kitchen seduction scene. That was like one of my
Mm.
all-time favorite scenes ever in maths, and there've been so many. Anywho, they had a fight. Samantha had found out that some of the other couples or the other women, I'm not really sure, declined to do the kissing task, and she felt,
It was only Mitch, I
oh, that we
believe.
know of, but some of them we didn't see. So maybe, oh,
True.
whatevs. But she got all jealous that, she didn't get to decline it and then turned it
Mm.
into Al was pressuring her. What do you think about that comment?
I know, it was quite extreme, wasn't it? Because you do think about the extremities of the show and the pressure points that you might feel from being in front of the cameras, being maybe having to perform a little bit. Are these challenges that you must do, or as Alessandra was saying, you should never do anything that's outside your comfort zone, or you're not willing to do? But this was something that she had given to them as a challenge because she had said that they had missed the intimacy between them. It made me draw a breath because I thought it is quite an intense situation to be in. And then I thought about the other couples shagging every 5 seconds. And do you just get caught up in the moment? Is it all okay? We've seen, was it our favorite Pikachu saying that, don't look, mom, don't watch when they were kissing first, herself and Cody were kissing. So there is a bit of intensity and pushing towards your partner, but you are on a show to be married. Oh, it's very confusing.
I agree it's confusing, and there are a couple of points that Sam made that I have to say, as much as I love Al, I kind of agree with her
Mm,
or believe her. Now, one of the
mm,
comments she made, I can't remember it exactly, was something about wanting to have kissed off camera, and it was the fact that it was on
yes.
camera that bothered her. And again, she implied that Al behaves differently off camera. And
She
I
did.
believe her. Now, I don't think it's in the abusive way that, say, Andrew or Mitch are, or Brent. I mean,
Mm,
allegedly, they've been accused.
mm,
But I do believe he's putting on a show, because Samantha was saying that Al wanted to put on this show of kissing for the cameras, and it rang true
mm.
for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I remember earlier on, she noted that they were watching a movie, and she said to him, "I'm going to bed,
Yeah.
babes." And he was like, "Yeah, see you later." Whatever. Turned up the movie night. I'll see you next week for the ceremony. So, to extent, I agree. I believe that she's not getting any real loving because maybe it is just for show.
I've got a feeling it is for show. And I did find out this week that Al has 5 sisters. I
Mm.
think he's the only boy, so that would explain his lack of being able to do anything in the domestic space. But more interestingly, one of his sisters is quite a big influencer.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, he would have some history and some knowledge on how to become famous as an
Mm.
influencer. So I do believe Samantha about that. And the second thing I can't remember. It was about the he was saying, he was doing the sob story about how he doesn't think Samantha likes him.
Oh God, yes.
And it really took the group to be yelling out saying, "She likes you, she likes you, she wouldn't be in tears, she wouldn't be upset if she didn't like you." And he got a grin from that. It was almost like he didn't need to hear it from Samantha. He just wanted the perception to be that, like, he was still cool and he was still handsome, and I don't know, I
Yes.
kind of adore him a little bit less, but I still love him.
Okay, okay. I do remember that grin when everyone was shouting, and I just thought, oh God, there was a bit of that with the group tonight. There was a lot of group participation when they were talking about their intimacy. And again, it just brought me back to that pressure point. Who's doing what for what reason?
Yeah, I got a bit of a fame whore
Mm,
vibe from our friend Al.
mm, yes.
Which is fine, whatevs. But, if you want to be that romantic lead or that heartthrob of Australia, you just
Yes.
can't make it obvious, really. We have to believe you.
No.
We have to believe you want love.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. He's too either unsure of himself or just unsure of what to do in front of the cameras to be perceived as the heartthrob.
Yeah, he didn't go to NIDA, did he? He
Pardon
didn't
me?
go to NIDA. Oh, I keep forgetting you're not Australian. NIDA is the National Institute of Dramatic Art, and that's where all the Kate Blanchetts and all of
Oh.
the, very successful actors have gone to. So a world-renowned acting school in New South Wales is called NIDA.
Oh. Oh, fabulous. Okay. No, he has not got that on his CV.
Moving on.
Right. Where are we up to? Selina and Cody. Oh,
Yeah,
look at his hair is looking fabulous now that she's given him a trim. I was waiting for them to discuss how she'd also removed the hair from his arsehole, but they didn't
exactly.
discuss that. And why? Why not? Alessandra would have loved that.
She would have loved that, but I mean, all I remember is the first scene of them. There were whiny noises in bed, which always disturb me and make me uncomfortable. I think
Mm.
it was a combination of they were hungover and tired. Who knows? Then they admitted they had sex. Now, you and I both
Mm.
think that happened a while back,
Absolutely.
and the removal of the asshole hair was a dead giveaway. But let's just go through the timeline. So they say they went to the
Mm.
dinner party, saw how
Yes.
terrible all of the other relationships were, got really
Hmm.
horny about it, and decided to shag for the first time. Um, then I think a bit later, someone quipped the word, like when Alessandro said, "How why are you doing so well?" Someone quipped the word, "Oh, birthday sex." Now, if we remember, her birthday, I'm sure, was not on the same day as the dinner party.
He had that beautiful cake and flower arrangement arrive for her.
Correct, but that
Mm.
was that, or was that not the same day as the dinner party?
I do not believe it
I don't
was.
believe it either. I think it was at least
No.
a couple of days before. So they kind of let it slip that,
They did.
yeah,
Which I love because we were right. We were onto them.
I think so. But I think that was a very big mistake or slip of the tongue that I can't remember who said about the birthday sex, but someone knew about it.
Yes, they did. They did. The couples were on to them as well. But they're all loved up now. They're happy. They're shagging nonstop. She's given him a chance. She's letting him in. The challenges do help. And was it Mel who said, you just need to keep on having
It
sex?
was Mel.
Yeah. And then I felt uncomfortable again. I felt the pressure cooker. But I suppose that is part of a healthy
You
relationship.
felt
I don't know.
uncomfortable. I'm a never nude. How do you think I
Mm.
felt? Okay.
I felt you were like running out of the room down to the cellar to drown yourself.
Yeah, and Selena just very quickly said she got over the sexual racism. So that's
Mm.
nice. Over it. We're happy
Yeah,
now. Boom, done.
yeah, everything's
Yeah.
fine. We're shagging. Happy
hmm
out. Right, who's next?
I've got no memory of the whole episode. Kay, you'll have to help me out.
We Dominique and Jack, our favorite dominator. Again, they are happy out. Everybody's loved up. Since they had the stripper pole last week, they are just on top of each other. But again, she said, I just want him to, tell me that my arse looks good. I need some affirmation. And he said he's more than willing to try.
That's right. It was just that one
Mm.
thing about he has to be completely obsessed with her body, and what she likes in men is complete obedience, which is kind of what I like in my friends. So I get that. I understand.
Yeah, no,
The
it's good.
flowers in the beginning.
What flowers? Oh, that's right. That's right. They got a flower delivery, dried flowers. It's lovely. Put them together. And she was chuffed. He's making leaps and bounds to make her feel adored.
Were they dried flowers or real ones, fresh ones?
Oh, I thought they were
Oh, that's
dried just because of the box they were in.
bad feng shui. I thought they were disbud chrysanthemums. So that's when they pull all the other buds off, like they disbud the stem. But if they were dried, that's bad
Mm.
feng shui.
Oh, and that's not good in a tiny apartment like that. God, they need all the shui they
But
can
it's good
get.
television.
Well, we would have liked to have known. Would you like to know how much they're delving into that sex box? Because I think Dom's been pretty open about her sexual needs, so I thought we might get a flavor of that tonight, but there's nothing.
And I thank God for that every day. I don't need to know about that. I think it is, as I said before, I think it's a COVID thing because they used to kind of film a bit of at least the foreplay before sex. And ooh, I hate that word. It's so icky. It's like moist.
Ooh.
Ugh. Yeah, in previous seasons they have done a bit of filming of sexual activity. But yeah, my
Mm.
theory is COVID rules, kind of body fluids flying around the place, gross, gross, gross. So I'm wrapped. I'm
Mm.
so happy we're not seeing that this year.
Yeah, and again, maybe the cameramen went on strike and said, "I've had enough of this. This is so awkward."
I don't blame them, and strikes are very Australian. We
Yes.
strike all the time.
Yeah, you love it. Good march. Get out there.
Who's next?
Right. Ella and
Ugh.
Mitch. Oh, God. Well, you did say that he's really better in a non-speaking
Yes, I
role.
did.
You have said that quite a few times, and he showed that again tonight on the couch.
He did, and I think when the experts were asking how things were going, I think he said one word, and that one word was "dunno." In that, see, I could do that really strong Australian accent, "dunno," and
Mm.
and that was it.
Kissing is not something I do. Well, you're on a show to be married, buddy.
Oh man, yeah, he is such a wombat, such a wombat.
Well, okay. They had a little kiss in the end because the crowd, or sorry, the group cheered them on to do it. And again, that pressure point and they got stuck in. So just need a lot more group involvement, I
Oh,
think, maybe for the
do
show.
we? I think he's becoming the new Andrew. Maybe, I mean, in
Mm,
a less Tex-Mex or Tex-Sex way.
mm,
Because he did get called out on his behavior at the dinner party and how rudely he spoke to Ella. And I won't do
yes.
that impression again, but it is in last episode, episode 12. There were
Hmm.
some bad words said in there. It was very, very rude in that very strong Australian accent. Now, whilst they were getting their rousing or their words,
Hmm.
both of them were just nodding dumbly and quickly, you know, when you do, when you're just trying to make this conversation go away and you're like, I'll just agree with you. And, you know, it didn't even seem to be absorbing into either of them. I wonder if Mitch is so stupid that he didn't even understand the questions that were asked. But I also wonder if he's so stupid that he hasn't even worked out that he is losing any chance he has for a television career as a heartthrob or anything on Neighbours. And did you see this
Mm.
City Beach campaign that's been going around social media?
Oh no, I haven't. Tell
Oh,
me.
it's just one of his modeling gigs. So the City Beach catalogue is just wearing all the beachy, surfy clothes because he lives on the Gold Coast, allegedly. I think it's Logan. I just don't know if he can kind of see that dropping away with every word that he says.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't realize it right now because I think he was a bit taken aback or shocked or dumbfounded by what the experts had to
Dumb,
say.
dumbfounded.
Or I thought about this. The experts were saying, this is really out of character for you. And I note that, Kay, you had said he was hitting those Bundys
Oh, yeah.
hard at the dinner party. So maybe he was so hammered that he just didn't remember. And then he just copped it. He said, yes, sure, I was terrible. I'm sorry.
Actually, that's a good point. He probably had a total blackout. He had so many Bundaberg rum and
Mm,
cokes.
I think it could have been. Anyway, again, they've promised to do better and, kiss more and take it from there,
Ugh,
really.
yeah, oh
Happens. We'll
dear.
keep it watching
Oh,
them.
yes, I will because I love blow ups.
Well, speaking of blow ups, our final couple, Tamara and Brent.
Excellent, excellent.
Mm, God, they were icy on the couch tonight, weren't
All
they?
separate rooms after the dinner party. They had a big blow
Mm.
up. I mean, they were blowing up at the dinner party anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brent is accusing Tamara of, when people say, "Oh, I'm sorry you interpreted it that way." So condescending. I hate
Hmm.
it. But it happens to me
Yeah.
regularly as well. So he's accusing her of interpreting things incorrectly. He said things like, "The amount of times I compromise for her is underappreciated."
Yes.
She's saying Brent has a temper, and I must say I do believe her. Tamara is still saying
Mm.
somethink, and you know how I feel about that. Picking up on the English there. When Tamara was talking to Sam early on in the episode, Sam just disappointed me. It looked like sort of Dumb and Dumber talking to each other because her brilliant advice was go with your gut, which in itself is not bad advice, but usually with some actual
Mm.
action items.
Yes. Like run for the hills if you're scared, if he's having these temper tantrums all the time and you're not happy.
Well, that's exactly right, Kay, because when Brent was saying, like, he was straight at the camera, he was looking like a bra boy or Chopper Reed. He was saying,
Mm.
I will
Mhm.
never be spoken down to like that.
Yes.
And then she's
Yes.
playing the victim. I'm not willing to
Yes.
accept this from someone, full stop, ever, full
Mm.
stop. And I, like, watching that, I would believe he would kill someone.
Yeah, and we've discussed as well how easily this could happen in Australia generally because there's a lot of places to hide the
Vacant
bodies.
land, yeah, and farms.
Mm. It's a big country. Um, the other thing as well, back to the editing, the experts didn't give them anything. They just seemed to jump between conversations. He then, Brent said, you just told me, or Tamara said, you just told me to push my personality down so you don't look like a bitch.
That's
But that
right.
kind of didn't relate back to the first argument as to why this all kicked off. I don't
That's
know.
so
It was a lot of
true.
jumping. Mm.
Interesting.
And then the experts just said, "So, that sounds nice. So,
I
are you
know.
going to stay or go?"
I know. They said nothing at all.
Nothing.
They've just had this burst, this blow up on the couch, and just like, oh, so you're going to
Mm.
stay or go? It was just madness. Like this toxicity right in front of them, and they got nothing to say.
Nothing. And again, I was shocked. I was like, they said stay? What? But of course, my gut's telling me to keep trying, says Brent. And I can't even remember what beaten down Tamara said, but she's in it for another week.
That's right. Brent got his fake calm voice. You know that fake calm voice he
Mm.
does.
Hmm.
And he's saying things to Tamara like, "Let me do me," and then John, another misogynist, is saying, "Just say yes, Tamara, and go with it," which is totally the opposite.
Dear
Yeah,
God.
totally the opposite of what Alessandra just said, saying, "Don't do anything you're not comfortable doing." And they've beaten Tamara down so much that she turns around and says, "Oh, yeah, okay, if I'm frustrating you, just tell me." What? Like, not if you get frustrated, because he's in control of his emotion. He's a grown man, grown ass man.
Yeah.
No, she turns around on herself just like these people have been telling her to. If I'm frustrating you, just tell me. Like, I'm in total shock by
What
that whole
the
thing. Yeah, what
hell?
the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
That will not end
These
well.
experts are on watch as well, okay?
They are. This will not end well. And I'm just
Mm.
hoping, everyone gets out of here, alive. Ugh.
Yes. Well, we do have some new people arriving
I know, I
tomorrow.
can't wait.
I think it's going to be a lot of drama added.
I hope so. We've got Twisty Man. We've got
Mm.
Slimy Developer Man, who I think is going to be total villain.
Yes. And again, he's going to help all these guys, hide the bodies. He knows places, he knows people. It can happen.
Okay, you're not letting go of this.
I know, I'm worried. I'm concerned now. I think this might turn into a murder mystery podcast.
Actually, I would love that. Maybe, yeah. You said there's a lot of unsolved mysteries in Australia. If we do some research, surely we
Mm.
could get guests in and everything.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it. Right. We've got the drama kicking off tomorrow. We're going to see how these couples keep managing their tiny apartments with the noisiest machines in the world, and if they keep on, being intimate or the exact opposite with each other. Who
Who
knows?
knows? But I did want to
Who
ask
knows?
you. Now, I know we're both reality TV tragics, but maybe I'm a bit more tragic. Have
Mm.
you watched Celebrity X on the Beach, the UK version?
Only snippets.
Okay, so do you remember Michael and Casey from season 7? So
Oh,
they're on it. Episode
oh,
1 is the only one I had access to on binge. So
okay,
Casey was on the episode, but not Michael yet. Only a couple of clips here and
okay.
there, but not actually on the in the episode. So Casey, as you know, is gorgeous and she looked fantastic on the show. But oh, poor Casey. Unfortunately for her, after she
Mm.
introduces herself to the group, and I love everyone, they're all fabulous. But it's episode 1.
Yeah.
In rocks this brunette, fake tit, gorgeous, but I think Norwegian woman. And that just trumps an Aussie accent every time. So she kind of,
Damn it.
yeah,
Exotic
I
accents.
know.
People just fall
I
for.
know. Anyway, they were talking about sort of sex pest stuff as they do because it's Celebrity X on the beach, and I just wanted to bring up this one point that I loved. So Casey was asked what her favorite sexual position was. I
Dear
know.
God.
But the answer, well, I laughed at first, but I think it's quite sensible. Casey said that her
Mm.
favorite sexual position was lying on her tummy. Oh my God. And I thought that is so sensible because to me that says, oh, I like to read a book or like catch up on social media. I don't like to do very much. And it's so much more honest than, pretending you're a sex pot when you first meet someone when really all you want to do is lie on your tummy.
Fabulous. I love it. Right. I have to delve into this now. Okay.
Okay.
X on the beach. It's happening. I'll add it to the list.
Okay. And that's all I got.
All right, darling. Until tomorrow. Ta ta.
Darling, ta ta.